I wanted to ask you too if you had any incidents in the city since it launched that allowed you to sort of stretch the legs of the system and see how it performed, and if so, what were first responders' opinion of how well it worked?
Right. Well, we're actually very fortunate. We haven't had an incident that required a full mobilization. But having said that, we did have an event that was involved many jurisdictions and was a good test for this, and that was the LA Marathon that was run. I believe it was in March. And so we actually mobilized our EOC as if there were an event, and really it was just to exercise it and to see how well these things worked. So that involved the City of LA, the LA County Sheriff's Department, other municipalities like Santa Monica were involved. And so it really had this regional context to it. We had a lot of mobile video out there that was ingested into the system. We had a lot of ad hoc wireless networks set on to facilitate communications, as well as our radio, our standard RF police radio. Police and fire radio. All of that was interoperable, and it seemed to work very well. We got a lot of praise from the people who actually saw it in action. And so we think that we were onto something that's going to work well in the case of an actual disaster. I think some of the things that they really appreciated was they can be looking at a map, for example. They see an icon of a camera and they know what direction it's pointing. They can click that and then just bring up the imagery from that camera, and that's just so easy to use. It requires virtually no training, just because we're trying to make it as intuitive as possible.
For our readers and viewers who see this, and they want to do something like this, I think the system largely speaks for itself in terms of its capabilities and features. But if you can say how much it costs, that would be great. But if not, I'd also like to know, when you told the city council about this, what did you have to tell them to say this is going to be a worthwhile application and something we should pursue?
Right. Well, in terms of the city council, given our mayor and his enthusiasm for smart cities and safe cities, they were enthusiastic. In fact, they made some trips to Washington to actually lobby for this. That this is workable. This is a good idea. So it wasn't us selling it. It was them actually insisting that we do these things. So we were very fortunate in that case that there was so much enthusiasm from the elected officials as well as the management team here. In terms of the cost, the Byrne grant was about $800,000 that was provided by the Department of Justice. We've gotten some in-kind services that don't really have a dollar amount from DHS. And then internally, the city has spent, including all of the CCTV and all of the CAD integration and all of the pieces of it as part of our general security. It would be in the millions of dollars. But the good news is, for our partners, it's effectively free. So we're providing it to our neighbors and just making that available to them as part of this. That was the underlying structures that we're deeding this over to the state of California for them to disseminate it wherever. The other thing, if this doesn't fit exactly into their emergency operations infrastructure, they can just take the bits and pieces that are of interest and ingest that into their existing infrastructure. So that's one of the features of it as well.